But they got to get some stops also on the other end. Formosa is just having their way on offense as well.
Tucker to Tolbert, one-handed throwdown. Mayo stepping back, gets Liu in the air. Back to Esho for three. What a big-time basket.
The two Taiwan-based squads picked up big wins in Friday night action here in the ASEAN Basketball League. We talk about their two victories and a lot more on the latest episode of ABL Recap.
Subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified of the latest videos of the ABL. Follow all of our social media accounts and visit our website for more updates.
Once again, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us for the latest episode of ABL Recap. Chuck Araneta, together with Carlo Pamintuan, breaking down the two wins of the Taiwan-based teams over the two Macau-based squads. And the first game on tap was the victory of the Taipei Fubon Braves over the Macau Black Bears, 100-85. And Carlo, the third straight victory of the Braves over the Black Bears. It seems like the Fubon Braves really have the number of their neighbors from Macau.
They can't figure them out. That is the biggest problem now for the Macau Black Bears. And it has been a struggle of a season shock for them because they can't seem to get themselves going. It's one loss followed by a win, followed by two losses. They just can't seem to find that right element to be in, to be able to get a winning streak going. For the Taipei Fubon Braves, I'd like to stress the importance of having three imports who can play heavy minutes together, because this was not a possibility for them when they still had Simbular in their lineup. Now you have a 35-minute guy in Maxi Esho, a 35-minute guy in OJ Mayo, and a Chuck Garcia who really does not get tired, played 38 minutes against the Macau Black Bears. That combination, and then you add to the mix an outstanding local scorer in Joseph Lin, and you have a good recipe for picking up victory, especially against the Macau Black Bears. For that side, Chuck, I don't think that the 12 shots that Mike McKinney got in that ball game were enough for him. He is too good a player to only attempt 12 times, especially because he made 6 of those shots. Right. He among their starters, he had the best plus-minus among their squad. He was a -4 in the 32 minutes that he played. So I believe that Macau should be better off giving Mike McKinney, one of the highest performing locals last season, more touches than just 12.
Especially when he had the same number of attempts as Jenning Leung,
for sure,
from the Black Bears. On the other end, though, it was Kenny Manigault that led the way for the Black Bears, finishing with 29, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists.
That's 29 points, Chuck, on 25 shot attempts. So it was not the most efficient of performances coming from Kenny Manigault as well.
Especially when you compare McKinney having 24 points on only 12 field goal attempts. That's a very impressive number, a very efficient one as well. Now, we mentioned him a while ago, but Joe Lin, he did not start the season with the Braves. He was coming off an injury. He also had a slow start when he was actually on the floor, but boy, these past few games, he has really turned up his game and he's produced rock-solid numbers. He came into this game averaging around 8 points, 2 boards, and 2 dimes. And tonight, 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. And all of a sudden, the hype that we had for the Braves, the excitement that a lot of people had because of guys like Joe Lin in the lineup, it's starting to come to fruition for the Taipei Fubon Braves.
I think he shied away from a spotlight a little bit when he was first given the starting role by the Taipei Fubon Braves coaching staff. But right now, he is an eager contributor to their squad. He is the fourth wheel that makes everything tick for them. And, aside from the starters of the Taipei Fubon Braves, who were spectacular in that game, their bench also outscored the Macau Black Bears 17-7. That is a big factor as well. Another problem for Macau, Chuck, Liu Jihao was nowhere to be found in this particular ball game. Had 15 in their last victory at home. Did not even score a single point in 5 attempts against the Braves.
So that loss will drop the Macau Black Bears once again to below 500 at 4-5, and the Braves will climb to 7-4. We move on to our second game of the evening. This time it is the Formosa Dreamers with the 11-point win over the Macau Wolf Warriors, and leading the way once again. Another superb performance from arguably the best 1-2 punch in the ABL in terms of world imports. Talking about, of course, Anthony Tucker and Jaron Young.
A spectacular performance from both those guys. Jaron Young was actually struggling with his foul situation throughout the second half of that ball game. Still put up decent numbers, but it was the Anthony Tucker show for his squad because he was simply unstoppable in that particular ball game. You talk about his ability to put the ball in the hoop, 31 points. He was 6 of 11 from downtown, continuing to shoot at a very high clip from the field. And then you add the 13 assists. So 13 assists is at least 26 points. Add that to the 31. That's just basically half of what they scored. And it had the imprint of Anthony Tucker all over it.
The biggest difference really was the three-point shooting because the Wolf Warriors went 6 of 25, 24%. And on the other side, 14 of 29 clip for the Formosa Dreamers to finish at 48%. And again, it's hard to stop ourselves from really just talking about how great Tucker is. But he has really been such a game changer since arriving on the scene for the Dreamers. Not only for his ability to shoot, but you get the sense that when he sees someone is cooking, a teammate is cooking, he is more than willing to feed the hot hand until, they need him to step in and really get himself more assertive on offense.
For sure. He is the kind of alpha dog who knows that his team is better when everyone is engaged. So he makes it a point to dish off to his local teammates to get their confidence up because, the threat of having local teammates scoring in the wings as well will make sure the defense will be honest and make things easier for him in effect. They overcame, a foul plague performance coming from Jordan Tolbert, who only played 25 minutes and 30 seconds, scoring 8 points in that game. There were actually, times that they looked like they were about to be in trouble because they did not have a legitimate center on the floor. But the defensive presence, the activity of Jaron Young just leveled everything for them as he has another big-time performance with 24 points and 6 rebounds alongside 5 steals. It was not the same with this 2020 triple-double in this last game, but still enough to pick up a victory.
On the other side, for the Wolf Warriors, I think now the clock is ticking. They're hoping that that they'll be able to get back Doug Herring as soon as possible because he really was the catalyst for the hot start of the Wolf Warriors. Mike Bell, his replacement. So-so game. Maybe I was still trying to shake off the rust. Taking a look at all of his new teammates. Finished with a quiet 8 points and 7 boards. And it was really Scott Ewing and Julian Boyd that shouldered the load for this team, and Stephen Thomas as well. Although he had a hard time trying to chase around Jaron Young through all of those screens and isolation plays.
It ended up being a favor to the matchup for the Formosa Dreamers, having Jaron Young outspeeding Stephen Thomas. What I also like coming from the Macau Wolf Warriors were the assist numbers of Ewing and Shentu. They combined for 13 assists. Those are basically the numbers of Douglas Herring that you were missing. Of course, as you said, it was a big performance coming from Julian Boyd, bouncing back from his non-double-digit output the last game. But the problem with that performance is he also had 9 turnovers to hurt their cause. And you cannot make too many mistakes if you're facing a team as good as the Formosa Dreamers.
Those are the games on tap for Friday, and now the ABL will ratchet it up even further on Sunday as we've got 4 games on our slate. It begins with the KL Dragons taking on the Formosa Dreamers. Once again, that's 3rd game in 6 days for the Dreamers. Let's see if they can continue their streak here. They also have the Singapore Slingers against San Miguel, Alab, Pilipinas. The Saigon Heat will take on the Mono Vampire Basketball Club. And the Macau Wolf Warriors once again in action. They face off against the Taipei Fubon Braves. And of course, if you want to catch all of the games, all of the highlights, all of the best moments, you can follow all of the social media accounts of the ASEAN Basketball League on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and even on WeChat. So that's going to do it for this episode of ABL Recap. For Carlo Pamituan, my name is Chuck Araneta, and we will see you in the next episode.